Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with Plugin Boutique, and it's time for the third video in this three-part video series where we're building this song starter together using three different VSTI, one for the chords, one for the melody, and one for the bass, making three different patches and doing this from start to finish. So this is the Diva video where we're going to be making these chords right here. Very, very cool, kind of off kilter, but I love the way it feels. It makes the summertime vibe just that much more apparent in the track. And of course, video one was making the bass patch with Bassmaster. Video two was making the melody mallet sound patch inside of Repo 1, and all together it sounds like this. So super dope. Hopefully you've been following along this whole time, but let's just go ahead and jump into it, making this chord style patch inside of Diva. So here we go. This is the initial patch from Diva. And let's get started. So instead of a triple VCO, this just means three oscillators. I'm gonna go dual. And for this, I'm gonna go high pass filter with the bite. For here, I'm gonna go multi-mode. And for here, I'm gonna use the envelope 1, and this is fine, the ADS. We're not gonna be using the envelope 2, so we don't need to worry about it right now. We do need to make sure that you see the tune mode here is going to envelope 2. We don't want that, so let's just go ahead and send that to the gate. The other thing I'd like to do right off the bat is go 0 on the transpose, just so the relative MIDI notes are where they're supposed to be and not being pitch shifted up or down any sort of octave or anything like that. So already that's a dope patch right there. That's like future bass chords right out of the gate, and we haven't really done anything yet, right? You know what, let's just see what that sounds like in the track. All right, so it doesn't really work with this track, but I think those are pretty dope chords. It's already a dope patch. So the next thing I want to do is come into modifications, and I want to modulate the filter via the gate as well. And as soon as I pull down this knob a little bit, you'll see that the modulation sticker goes right next to this resonance. I'm going to crank open the resonance, pull up the cutoff, but let me just pull it up slowly so you can hear what it does. All right, that's pretty dope. That's a good place to start. Let's come in here, pull down the envelope, amplifier volume. And it sounds pretty crazy right now, but trust me, we're going to where we need to go. So let's crank up the keyboard. Let's adjust the envelope over here just so we can get a better, more closer to the shape of the sound that we're looking for. We're gonna pull the attack all the way down, decay, roll back on the sustain. There we go, that's a much more manageable sound. So we're still getting that movement, but it's happening a much shorter period of time, so it's not as crazy. Flip the release switch. Cool, right? The next thing we can do is jump over to, well, let's turn up the output just for a little bit. So that actually sounds pretty dope too. Let's listen to that. Come jump back in here. Let's pull up the octave for the second oscillator, or the first oscillator rather. Let's pull it up so it's actually coming out just a little bit. Let's roll back on the second one to mix them together. Very, very cool. That's really funky, right? It's got like a funk feel to it. And let's modulate the tuning here just a little bit. Let's pull it down to, let's go to 5. Very cool. The next thing, we can detune this second oscillator by 5 semitones as well. So let's come up to 5. Very cool, right? It's almost very close to where we're trying to go. So the next thing we can do is kind of deal with this high pass filter. Pull it up. There we go. It's giving it a little bit of body. Instead of going to the envelope 2, we want to go to keyboard follow on this one and then push it up. So that's pretty dope. And just to let you know, we weren't actually modulating or changing this at all because it was right here in the middle, and that just doesn't mean it was modulating positive or negatively. So it wasn't doing anything to the sound. But you just got to keep things like that in mind, especially when you have this sort of modulation routing system inside of here. You got to make sure you know where everything is going and coming from. So let's move over here and let's send this to the gate and this to envelope 1. Let's pull back on it. So that's pretty dope, right? That's pretty close. So that one's a little bit louder and it's got some reverb on it, and that's all down here with the effects. So if I come in here and turn this on rotary 2, this is gonna make it stereo. And I'm just gonna roll back on the mix here. Make sure the output is all the way up. This is gonna make it pretty loud, so I can pull down the output out here. You hear how it's just kind of making the movement happening in a stereo field, just making it wider sounding and adding that extra bit of character. So I mean, I think that sounds pretty good. We can leave the rest of this like that. Let's turn on the plate. Really great sounding plate reverb inside of here. Turn the size way up. Turn the wet way down. Turn the dry way up. Maybe roll back on the dampening, add a little bit of pre-delay. And let's listen to this. All right, so that sounds pretty good, right? I mean, we can open it up a little bit more here. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we can kind of come in and tweak stuff a little bit more if we wanted to. But let's listen to that in the context of the track. So I think that sounds pretty close to the original. So I think that's where I'm going to leave it. Really great synthesizer. I don't know if I said in the beginning of the video, but this is one of my favorites for pads and chords and things of that nature, just because it's just so lush. Anyway, Joshua Casper here for Plugin Boutique. I hope you followed along with this video series. Let me know if you liked it, and I will do more different genres, obviously. You know, we can do some house, we can do some hip-hop, we can do all different types of things. But I got to know that you like it, and they're worth doing. So anyway, hopefully I'll see you soon.